Well, since I attended the incelcore gathering called Virgin Fest now almost 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago on September 11th, since that happened and since I recorded several videos on the subject of the Virgin Fest and on incelcore as a genre of music in general, a couple of things have happened. One thing is, and this happened just on its own, this was something that I just noticed on my own, I should say. When you peruse the internet, you don't you type in incelcore. What is incelcore? There isn't anything out there right now. There's nothing that says incelcore music is this. Incelcore developed because of this, because Shooter or School Shooter, who later changed his name to Negative XP, started recording songs on SoundCloud, which were about various anti-feminist, anti-politically correct themes, and then other artists followed suit, and eventually the scene developed. This what could be called a scene of incelcore came to blossom. I dare you to find anything like that out there. There isn't anything like that anywhere on the internet that I'm aware of. There are, if you go on YouTube, there are a couple of places where some typical SJW type is hating on the Scott Pilgrim versus the World ruined a whole generation of women song, and maybe did Needle Drop talk about this? I don't know for sure. Anthony Fantano, who's recently been roasted by Sam Hyde as well as a friend in a rap video. I can't remember the other guy's name, but it's a black guy. So Sam Hyde and a black rapper collaborated on this rap song attacking Anthony Fantano. It's pretty funny. But anyway, there's not. I mean, there you find sputtering condemnations here and there of this, that, or the other thing. But even from even if you were somebody who didn't like this kind of music, or who thought that it was an indication of bad things afoot in our culture or whatever, even if you were the hand-wringing type, over this kind of subject, over these kinds of songs, over this kind of music, you would think that somebody somewhere would, given that this scene is now to some degree conspicuous, and even let's even allow that it's not that huge of a scene right now. Okay, it's not huge, but it's still conspicuous enough that given the state of things, given the state of the the school marm SJW wag your finger at bad thinkers kind of culture that we have, you would think that somebody somewhere would have sat down, done some research, and put forward some kind of essay where they just seriously examined, even if they were down on it, even if they disliked it. You would think that somebody somewhere would be out there trying to analyze it, trying to see what it was all about. Kind of like what happened with the alt-right in 2015, 2016. When you had at first a couple of articles come out on the subject of what is the alt-right, and then a couple of books like Michael Malice's book and some others, and Kill All Normies, and most of them not written from a sympathetic point of view, or not written from a from a point of view that was advocating for the alt-right, but that it was at least trying to grapple with what it was, and how it became this influential force in some way in the culture. I don't see anything like that with incelcore music, even though Negative XP Shooter is somebody who's who was big enough to enough of an icon, of a sort of alternative icon figure, to get Antifa involved in trying to see to it that Virgin Fest got canceled, when in fact what the musicians did, what the Virgin Fest goers did, instead of playing in the tattoo shop where they were scheduled to play, they went out in the woods to a nearby park and played acoustically, and it was a grand success as far as I was concerned. You can still watch the footage. If you type in Virgin Fest 2021, you see a bunch of videos come up, and mine are among them, but the biggest, the ones that have the biggest number of views are not mine. They're other people who were there, other people who took footage of the event, and of course it was all streamed. There was the entire 4-hour stream of the event as well. Anyhow, all this is leading up to my point here, which is, and that was the second thing I was going to say. It has been solicited from me to write a piece about incelcore, and not just about my experiences observing Virgin Fest as an obvious outsider, just because of my age, and this being a young people's thing, but also just something that really looks at the music and looks at what it's all about, and tries to put forward some kind of again, in some kind of essay format, a discussion of this scene that's making some waves, making some headway. So I am writing. I haven't started. I've barely started, I should say. I've written a few paragraphs of this essay, but I also have some trepidation about it, because I know it's sort of like one of those things where I think there, just like in the 60s and 70s, there was this whole issue with a so-called generation gap. That's happened again with the younger people today, and somebody like me who gets categorized as a boomer, even though I'm not a boomer. I'm solidly in the Gen X demographic, but Gen X usually gets kind of ignored, so that's fairly typical, or just gets shuffled off to, or just slightly younger boomers. So it will. I think if I write something about this scene, it will be perceived as, oh, this boomer, this old guy, he just doesn't get it. I'm well aware of all of the missteps that a person can make when trying to cover a scene. I remember reading somewhere or hearing something about how when the grunge thing happened in Seattle, this is pretty hilarious. There were some, there were all these media types, trying to say, what is grunge, and what are some things we can say about the grunge subculture? And they had somebody like wrote an article for them saying these are the terms that are used by people in the grunge subculture, and it was all just made up. It was all just there were all these like 15 or 20 terms, and they were just made up from whole cloth, and they weren't terms that people were using in Seattle in the grunge culture at all. But the mainstream media was so eager to hear, to get some authentic voice of the grunge culture. This is like in 1992 or 93 or whatever. That they were successfully trolled. That word wasn't really a word yet, but they were trolled. And I have some trepidation about writing this article, just because, I think there will be people who will want to, who will see me as being on the level, and who will want to talk to me, with sincerity, and like I found a couple of people at the show who were like that, who saw past their fear of me just being some leftoid journalist from Vice. By the way, Vice recently, it came up on my feed just recently that Vice had some article about neo-Nazi concert in profile, and I thought for a moment, oh God, did they write about Virgin Fest? But no, it was an actual neo-Nazi concert that took place somewhere in Ukraine, I think, somewhere in Europe. But that was just that was one of those moments where I was like, whoa, and because everybody there thought I was a Vice reporter, and thought I was there to expose them, and to, meanwhile the Antifa guy undercover there takes a picture of me and posts it on Twitter saying Andy Nowicki, misogynist and originator of the alt-right movement, was present at Virgin Fest. like that just made it. I explained that before, but how that just brought this additional level of ignominy to the event, to the whole affair. Anyway, this is nearly 15 minutes long, and I guess I've been kind of rambly, but I think the message I'm left with here, well, two messages. First of all, I do have a piece on incelcore in the works. Number two, I have some major trepidation about writing this piece, just because I think I will be looked at. I don't think I will avoid being looked at with suspicion by some, and if I'm not careful, I might get trolled. I might get trolled like those idiots who published the article from the person in Seattle saying, "Here's the grunge lingo," kind of thing. So I'm approaching this project with some trepidation, but let me know if you think it's a good idea, or if you're not so sure. Let me know below. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.